Hi everyone, welcome back tonight. Real quick, I wanted to go over something real quick that I always see, and it's important to me. You see, like these roll cages, they come pre-bent and such, and you can see some of the orange starting and stuff. It's very important not to handle these until you're ready to use them, or to actually take a light oil that you can get off and coat them just lightly. Just to prevent, otherwise you're going to start putting rust in everywhere you touch this stuff. I mean, everywhere this cage kit was touched with a hand, checking it out, and everybody was excited, you know, and I tried not to get them to do it. I tell them, don't touch it, let's just, you know, get a thin coat on it and hurry up and get it in the car and handle it as little as possible, or use even some like latex gloves or a pair of work gloves to keep the oil from your skin off of it, so you're not causing or letting the rust in, per se. You don't want to over handle the raw steel, because it actually will leave your handprints on it. Moving on. Tonight you can see I knocked a whole bunch of this floor insulation off. Got a ton. We're basically down to getting it cleaned out. The kiddo is going to clean out some of this stuff in the back, the last pieces that actually come up fairly easy. This stuff was not a very good time. I spent probably 3 hours getting it off. I know there's lots of ways, dry ice, some people anyways, there's all kinds of methods. I've seen guys try to heat it and make a mess, and it's way worse. Really, I just chose to just go at it, knock the stuff loose, and get the job done. And again, this car, what we're finding is this car is beautiful. The pans and the rails through here and the integrity, it's all mint. This is a beautiful car to build, and I'm excited to build something that's nice for myself and my kids. So we took last night off. We needed some time to rest and not forget about the rest of the family in the house and the little one, and not burn my kid out. You know, Paisley's doing this stuff. She's never been into this stuff before, and a fear that I have is taking her out of her element too fast and getting her into this stuff and burning her out and making her lose interest. It hasn't happened, but it could happen. Plans for tonight, I'm thinking, I don't have the jig here yet, so what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is get the car jacked up and get it on stands, so we can do some plate work and such that doesn't require the car to be stationary or fixed in place to get it done. I believe we're gonna sandwich plate this, which means we will take these 5.5 by 5.5 plates and weld them to the floor, and then we will bore the holes through them, pass the cage all the way through the floorboard out the other side where there will be another matching plate with the hole drilled, and then we'll be able to basically sandwich this seam up here in the front, right in here. It's very, very thick through here, and there's a box rail through here. So what I want to do is catch that seam, catch that outer rocker with some other fancy plate work off the top, and actually pass it through. So that would have to be physically removed from the car to compromise that plate. Also, let's not forget that this car will probably have 14 to 16 points total connection at the chassis, and hopefully it'll all be all tied together right the way I like it. And then when you're doing adjustments and changes, you know, we all like to, well, my toe's got to be perfect within a 1/4 inch. Well, that's great unless your car flex is 3/8 in the corner. In my experience, I've had guys that had their car and they shelled it all out, and in my opinion, they cut too much. They cut all these inner panels out till there's absolutely nothing. And one, they had most of the weight back in body bracing to hold it up. And two, you'll follow these cars into the corner and they deflect so bad, if there was a window in there, it would pop the window right out on the ground. It's not my style. I believe the car should be sound and sturdy and ready to take the abuse that we're going to give it. It's the same reason that we spot weld these seams and such and do a little extra more to tie everything together. I think what you're going to see here, through here, don't mind my insulation pile, I'll move some of this. This rail right here is actually the unitized rail under the car. It ends at this box beam where the seat frame used to sit, and then from here to here in the tank section, there's not really much in there to tie it. And then again, back to strung through here, through the cross member, because the fuel tank was here. So I think what you're gonna see me do is I'm gonna add a bar from side to side, and we're gonna pick up these two rocker panels where this car is truly integral down in here. And we're gonna pass right through to the outside, weld that in, and then our cage will come down and sit on that cross member, and then that'll allow me to subframe this through here back to this main frame and actually build my own type of unitized under the car. And also what it is in the past, I've thought about it, and if you're overturned and you get hit in the bottom of the floor, I mean, what's really there? There's nothing there. This stuff is, it's sound. This car's not rusty at all, but it's not enough to stop a 2,200 pound car times the miles per hour. That's a lot of force coming at the bottom of the car, and I think it should be considered, especially with my 11, gonna be 12-year-old daughter having plans to get in this car. We want to refine this and make this as safe as possible so that she can go as hard as she wants or be able to make mistakes, and I get to take my daughter home safe and sound. And that's something that we'll always pride ourselves in. You know, something that's important is in racing, in my opinion, is if you don't have a car that can't make the whole race, you definitely can't win the race. You have to build something that's going to make every lap in the race and carry on from week to week without major repairs. And every time there's a little fender bender, the car has to be cut apart. That's no good. All your points move and things change, and then your setup's no good. This is all super, you know, it's the foundation. If you were building your house and your foundation is not correct, your house isn't correct. You end up with a crooked house. It has integral problems, cracked foundations, and then it carries through the whole build. And it's no different in these cars. You want to have everything stationary, sitting well, a good foundation, and then you can use the tools like your average man tools, the most basic ones ever known to man. Levels, squares, plumb bob, things that are great, and it makes your job easier when you start trying to actually put the tubes in this car. So you're not just messing around or measuring off the floor and down from the roof and then corner to corner to try to find and make sure this cage is right. You actually want to build it right, check all your marks first, set these things in square, and then you can fly through the rest without having a ton of problems or issues or getting all done and your roll cage is sitting crooked in your car. That's not our style. Up here, this integrity of the car, not a huge fan of this. This is a large void because of the style of rack and pinion steering that they use in the car. And then it has to be able to pass through. And then naturally you have a strut out here that moves up and down with a ball joint. And then also your tie rod end joint that goes up and down. So they had to leave this large cavity. To me, I see a weakness in the integrity of the car. So we're gonna wanna get that all tied in. So I'll be doing something funky through here to pass through and get these strut towers fixed to our chassis sound so we know that our points aren't moving, while also keeping it tucked and doing a professional job so it doesn't look like a pile of crap. I see tons of guys and they come way out here and they come all the way around the car and around the nose, and then I have to ask them, or I ask myself, why would you do that? I've wrecked enough cars that you understand that your frame rail's way in here. So why would you put your integrity out here? Your frame rail's down here. This is the part the bumper's gonna hook to that runs into everything, and we all know where we're headed with this car. They do enough of that. They run into each other a lot. They're not afraid to move each other, and it is important to keep your strut mounting position proper, but to me it's more important to keep these bars low and mounted to where these rails will stay the same. These are where your mounts are: engine mounts, transmission mounts, strutting mounts. It's all, and then even your subframe. Your subframe's mounted from here, which holds your suspension. This is all important. So we'll be doing a little something here, over in here, to make sure all this is tied together. And I'll do something a little fancy there. I think it'll be a little different than traditional. I have some ideas there to keep the weight inward, also in closer to the center of the chassis, so we can control it better. So I guess it's time to stop running my mouth and actually get something done on the car. I'm gonna go get the kid. She's finishing up some homework, and she was doing a little bit of studying as far as her bass guitar. She's also learning to play a 4-string bass, and she's putting in a little time on that, watching some videos on how to and such. Again, we're super pumped to do this. I'm gonna go grab the kid and we're gonna get to work, and I'll follow up later and we'll do a little bit more. Have a good night.